To everyone, the scariest UFC fighter right now, Khamzat Chimaev. He's not just a fighter, he's a nightmare in the octagon. Khamzat Chimaev is the man every UFC opponent fears. In just a few short years, he's gone from unknown to the most dangerous name in mixed martial arts. But how did he become the scariest fighter in the UFC right now? This is the story of Khamzat Chimaev's unstoppable rise, his terrifying fighting style, and why no one wants to face him. Born in Chechnya, a region known for its fierce warriors, Khamzat grew up in a world where toughness wasn't just valued. It was required for survival. From an early age, he was molded by the rugged environment around him. Fighting was part of life. And for Chimaev, wrestling became more than just a sport. It was his way out. When his family moved to Sweden, Khamzat's dedication to the craft only deepened. He trained relentlessly, improving his skills and building his strength, all while staying under the radar of the global MMA scene. It wasn't long before Chimaev started to make a name for himself in the world of professional wrestling and eventually mixed martial arts. His wrestling background gave him a massive advantage, but it was his raw aggression and power that truly set him apart. Combining wrestling with brutal striking, Chimaev had an approach few could handle. Opponents struggled to defend against his relentless takedowns and devastating ground and pound. He was a predator in the cage, and his prey, other fighters, had no answers for his ferocity. But it was his UFC debut on July 15, 2020, at UFC on ESPN 13. Chimaev fought against John Phillips.
Again! Body kick!
In this event, Chimaev wasted no time in this fight. From the opening bell, he shot in for a takedown, dragging Phillips to the ground within the first minute. Chimaev defeated John Phillips, and the fight immediately showcased Chimaev's dominance and well-rounded skills, sparking a lot of attention in the MMA world. Only 10 days later, Chimaev did the unthinkable. He fought again and won. Back-to-back fights in just over a week, with both victories being as dominant as they come. In his second fight at UFC Fight Night 165 on July 18, 2020, against Rhys McKee, he unleashed a barrage of strikes, finishing the fight by TKO in the first round. This incredible feat made him the first fighter in UFC history to win 2 bouts in such a short time span. 2 fights, 2 victories, 2 finishes. Chimaev had already cemented himself as a rising star, but his journey was far from over. Chimaev wasn't satisfied with just making UFC history. He wanted to dominate everyone in his path. His fighting style is a terrifying combination of precision and brutality. Whether on his feet or on the ground, Chimaev is always looking to end the fight. He doesn't waste time. He doesn't play it safe. He goes for the kill. In the octagon, he's an absolute beast. His striking is powerful, and his grappling is on another level. Fighters who go to the ground with him rarely get back up. The most frightening part about Khamzat Chimaev? His versatility. He's not just a wrestler or a striker, he's both. This makes him unpredictable, a nightmare for anyone standing across from him. One minute, he's pounding his opponents with strikes, and the next, he's taking them down with lightning-fast wrestling moves. The result? Utter domination. As Chimaev continued to rack up victories, fans and fighters alike began to take notice of his fearlessness. He wasn't just winning, he was smashing everyone in his way. In his next fight at UFC Fight Night, Chimaev vs. Meerschaert on September 19, 2020, against Gerald Meerschaert, he needed only 17 seconds to secure a knockout. Stunning the audience and leaving Meerschaert, a seasoned veteran, unable to recover. But with every victory came the pressure to continue his streak. Opponents began to analyze his style, searching for any weakness they could exploit. The UFC landscape was buzzing with speculation. Who would be brave enough to step into the octagon with Chimaev next? Some fighters openly avoided him, unwilling to risk their careers against a man who seemed unstoppable. Chimaev's most significant test came in a match against Gilbert Burns at UFC 273 on April 9, 2022. This fight was highly anticipated, with Burns being a former champion. The clash was explosive, featuring back-and-forth exchanges and showcasing Chimaev's striking abilities. In a fight that had fans on the edge of their seats, Chimaev was pushed to his limits, taking heavy shots but refusing to back down. He ultimately won by unanimous decision, solidifying his status as a title contender.
Body kick.
This fight wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. Chimaev proved he could withstand adversity and emerge victorious. After defeating Burns, the stakes continued to rise. Fans and analysts began to speculate about potential matchups that could either make or break his legacy. Khamzat set his sights on the welterweight title, and whispers of a showdown with Kamaru Usman, the former champion, or Leon Edwards, the current champion, filled the air. These fights could define his career, and the anticipation was palpable. Each victory made him a bigger target, and with that target came the challenge of maintaining his winning streak. However, Chimaev faced a setback in September 2022 when he was scheduled to fight Nate Diaz at UFC 279. The fight generated significant hype, but it was marred by controversy when Chimaev missed weight by a staggering 7.5 pounds. This led to a chaotic reshuffle of the card and forced him into a different matchup against Kevin Holland. Despite the last-minute change, Chimaev showcased his dominance, submitting Holland in the first round, proving that even the biggest distractions couldn't deter him from victory.
It's back to back climax for the top.
Pace of Chimaev has started this fight out with.
The weight issue, however, sparked debates about Chimaev's discipline and dedication. Critics wondered if he could maintain his terrifying form while facing the pressures of the title picture. But in the octagon, Khamzat remained unfazed. He was determined to prove the naysayers wrong. In 2023, Khamzat Chimaev fought in a big match at UFC 294 on October 21st against Kamaru Usman. This was a fight everyone was excited about because Usman is a former welterweight champion. Chimaev showed his strength and skill in a tough fight. After 3 hard rounds, Chimaev won by majority decision, proving once again how dangerous he is in the UFC. With each victory, Chimaev's reputation grew, and he soon found himself in the title conversation. The pressure mounted as fans and analysts began to speculate about a potential matchup with the champion. But as he climbed the ranks, many wondered, how far can Khamzat Chimaev go? His potential is limitless. He's already beaten some of the toughest opponents in the welterweight division, and now he's looking for bigger challenges. As the possibility of a title fight looms, tensions rise. Chimaev's fierce personality and aggressive fighting style have earned him a significant following, but they've also attracted fierce criticism. Rival fighters are eager to exploit any weakness they can find, and fans are buzzing with speculation about who can dethrone the undefeated king. Will the title pressure get to Chimaev, or will he continue his reign of terror in the octagon? The most terrifying aspect of Khamzat Chimaev is not just his skill, it's his mindset. He approaches every fight with an unwavering belief in his own invincibility. He walks into the octagon with the mentality that he is not just there to win, he's there to destroy. Opponents know they must not only overcome his skill, but also face his relentless mentality. It's this combination of fearlessness and raw talent that has the UFC world buzzing. Fans want to see him in the cage, while opponents want to avoid him at all costs. As we look to the future, one thing is clear: Khamzat Chimaev isn't just a fighter. He's a force of nature. Every time he steps into the octagon, it's an event. Fans tune in to see what he'll do next, and fighters wonder if they'll be the next name on his ever-growing list of victims. The UFC hasn't seen a fighter like Chimaev in a long time, and the sport may never see another like him again. But his journey is far from over. The scariest part? Chimaev is still getting better. He's not content with just winning. He wants to dominate every aspect of the game. And as long as that's the case, there's no telling how far he'll go. So, will anyone be able to stop Khamzat Chimaev? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure. Whoever steps up next better be ready for the fight of their life. If you want to stay updated on Chimaev's journey and follow more exciting UFC content, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button, share this video, and let us know in the comments who you think can challenge the undefeated Chimaev next. Don't miss out on the latest news, fight breakdowns, and more.